Hello everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight to your news at 9.
The CDC updates recommendations for people who have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. I'm Zach Dodge with what a few local doctors think. Coming up.
The Biden administration is dealing with a surge of unaccompanied children at the border. I'm David Spunt in Fort Lee, Virginia. What officials are saying about a recent trip there. Coming up.
Doug Hetty is weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. The CDC puts out new guidance for people who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. This guidance has been long awaited. KOAM's Zach Dodge has details on what a few local doctors think.
I think it's great. It's a new start.
New guidance from the CDC potentially signifying a big step towards the end of the pandemic.
I think that it's definitely on the road to the light at the end of the tunnel.
The CDC says people who are fully vaccinated can gather with other fully vaccinated people indoors without wearing a mask or social distancing. It's the same for vaccinated people visiting someone considered low risk for severe COVID-19, such as healthy children. Dr. Eden Niscara, an infectious disease specialist with Mercy Hospital, says it's a good step towards getting back to normal.
Everybody is so anxious to open up, and that's understandable. It's been a year since we were in lockdown, and so we have to slowly try to get back to normal.
Dr. Rob McNabb, head of the COVID unit at Freeman Hospital, says it makes sense and is a good balance between lightening the load on people who are burned out while also preventing the spread of the disease. But that it could also be too soon.
We were only talking about this from a safety perspective. I think that continuing on as we have until we reach that herd immunity would probably be the most long-term benefit for all of us.
But that leaves the question, how does someone who's vaccinated know that everyone they're with is also vaccinated? Dr. McNabb says there wouldn't really be any way to in a very large gathering, so keeping it small is still the way to go.
Remember, a worst-case scenario is that a person who's vaccinated does acquire the virus, sheds it asymptomatically, but because they don't have symptoms, they're not paying that much attention to who they're exposing. And so that's what the CDC didn't change. And, they said, look, large group gatherings is really not something that we would consider safe at this point.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
CDC considers someone fully vaccinated 2 weeks after they receive the last required dose of the vaccine. CDC also recommends that vaccinated people still get tested if they start to develop symptoms that could be attributed to COVID-19. Mercy Hospital is once again accepting walk-ins for COVID-19 vaccinations. You can get in tomorrow from 8 in the morning to 7 p.m. This is for eligible patients who need their first doses of the vaccine. Those eligible include people 65 and older, high-risk adults, healthcare workers, first responders, and other emergency personnel. This clinic is using the Pfizer vaccine, by the way. New cases are on the decline, as we've been hearing about, as the federal government ramps up its vaccination effort, and the focus now turns to the reopening process. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has more now from Atlanta.
New cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are all declining significantly as the COVID vaccination effort continues expanding. Nearly 59 million Americans have gotten at least one dose. That's nearly 18% of the population. And we're averaging more than 2 million shots a day. More significantly, more than 3/4 of all nursing home residents and staff have now been vaccinated.
The reason the hospitalizations are going down is because the elderly and vulnerable are being protected. And this is what the plan has been all along. When vaccines become more in supply, that will be the time to start vaccinating the younger population.
As the numbers improve, more governors are continuing the reopening process. There are now at least 18 states without mask mandates, mostly in the South and Upper Plains. But others say it's too soon, and keeping the public safe is the best way to get the economy moving again.
I don't care if you don't have to wear a mask in Texas or Florida. You got to wear one when you come here.
But there are growing fears the summer holidays will prompt millions of Americans to travel, despite warnings from the CDC. And that could easily trigger a new wave of cases and deaths.
Every time there's been a holiday with people traveling and mixing, we've seen a big surge in cases after. Right now, the main question that we have to know is, Is there going to be a fourth surge in this country or not?
And Moderna says clinical trials for the first COVID-19 vaccine to target a variant could begin as early as next week. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Doug Heddy joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Just a beautiful day. Everything, from the weather to the sunset, just no complaints.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day. A little on the windy side, but besides that, it was nice. Temps into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees, a good 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. And temperatures right now still aren't that bad. 55 in Nevada, 58 in Parsons, 55 in Miami. Anderson is sitting at 57. South winds kind of helping our temperatures warm up for us today. It was a little bit on the breezy side, and it still is. It's going to stay breezy tonight, and those winds will pick up again for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. A lot of clouds rolling through, nothing underneath the clouds, but we are going to start to see some rain chances increasing as we go through the next few days. Of course, we're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks as always. U.S. Senator from Missouri Roy Blunt says he will not seek re-election next year. He made the announcement today in this video thanking Missourians for electing him. The 71-year-old has served 2 terms in the Senate. Before that, he served 7 terms in the U.S. House and 2 terms as Missouri's Secretary of State from 85 to 93. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called Blunt's retirement, quote, a loss for the Republican conference and the entire Senate. The latest COVID-19 relief bill is in the final steps to becoming law. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the latest on what needs to happen before it reaches President Biden's desk.
The Biden administration may soon be able to celebrate their first major piece of legislation, a more than $1 trillion coronavirus relief bill.
Our focus right now is on getting this bill across the finish line, getting relief out to the American people, which we expect will happen by the end of the month.
Before the president can sign the bill, the House needs to approve it one more time. That's expected, but not a guarantee. The current House breakdown is 221 Democrats and 211 Republicans, meaning Democrats can only lose 4 votes, and this bill has undergone key changes since the last time they voted on it.
As President Biden said, help is on the way. That promise is kept in this legislation.
The $15 minimum wage increase is not included, and added unemployment benefits were reduced to $300 a week through Labor Day. But the bill does provide a tax break on $10,200 in unemployment benefits, a $3,000 child tax credit, and sets aside $1.25 billion for after-school programs and another $1.25 billion for summer enrichment. Republicans argue many other provisions are unrelated to the pandemic, and they're against some of the funding going through at least 2025.
President Biden could have had, probably would have ended up over $1 trillion, but there would have been some Republican input, and you wouldn't have had these outrageous radical left provisions.
The House could vote on the new bill as early as tomorrow or possibly as late as Thursday. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Immigration and the ongoing surge of migrant children at the border is one of the biggest challenges facing the Biden administration. Officials are reportedly considering housing them in a Virginia military base. Fox News correspondent David Spunt reports now from Fort Lee, Virginia.
We are working as hard as we are, not only in addressing the urgency of the challenge, but also in building the capacity to manage it.
1 week after Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas spoke to reporters about the border surge, the Biden administration is reportedly considering using an Army post in Virginia to house unaccompanied children.
When you have a surge that's taken place, and let's call a spade here, it is a crisis which has taken place, much as we do when we have a natural disaster. You got to move quickly to deal with that crisis.
Over the weekend, Secretary Mayorkas and senior administration officials traveled to a Border Patrol facility for a first-hand look at some of the challenges they're facing. They plan to brief President Biden this week.
We're trying to manage this in an orderly fashion. But obviously be very mindful of the human cost here in light of the fact that we are talking about kids.
Critics attribute the uptick in the border crossings to the Biden administration rolling back President Trump's immigration policies. Some are also worried about the surge taking place during a pandemic and if there is adequate testing and tracing for those entering illegally.
I just got back from the border. They're changing every policy of Trump that worked. So we're going to be dealing with, as a nation, out-of-control immigration.
If Fort Lee is selected to house the children, it would stay unoccupied until the need for space is urgent. In Fort Lee, Virginia, David Spunt, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Eugene Mudd served in the U.S. Army from 1944 to 45. The Erie, Kansas native was stationed in Europe and posthumously received a Purple Heart. We are proud to salute Private First Class Eugene Mudd. He's tonight's 4 state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and a bit later, the Colgan girls preparing for tomorrow night's state tournament opener. Going to hear from the team in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. In fact, the entire weekend turned out spectacular. We had plenty of sunshine. We did get some clouds in here during the afternoon hours today, but still pretty good. Great time-lapse Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but it looks pretty good. Still, our temperature is not bad. Most of us mid to upper 50s to near 60 in our western towns, Neodesha, Independence, Sedan, and we'll drop back upper 40s to near 50 later on tonight. It's been windy all day long. We've had these south winds at about 10 to 20, 25 miles per hour, and then gusts a little bit higher than that. It is going to stay breezy for us tonight, and the winds are going to pick back up once again for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. We're going to drop back into the upper 40s to near 50, but tomorrow's going to be a spectacular day, even warmer than what we did see today. We do have the clouds, nothing really underneath the clouds, so we are staying dry, at least for now, but we have storm systems which are starting to really increase out to the west. Our first little wave right out across parts of Nebraska, that's what's producing the clouds right now, but our next storm system down through central parts of California, western parts of Nevada, and then another one right behind it across the Pacific Northwest. So it's going to get fairly active, especially as we get into late this week and then really into the weekend. Look at the winds tomorrow. We're going to have winds gusting at times 40, maybe 45 miles per hour. So it's going to stay very windy. We're going to continue with mostly cloudy skies for us tonight, but I do think we'll stay dry. Some sunshine in the morning, clouds roll right back in during the afternoon, and we can't rule out a very slim shot that there could be a random shower or two. 49 to start, 69 by noon, high temp right around 72. South winds sustained 20 upwards to 25 miles per hour. Clouds stick around tomorrow night. Again, a very slight chance there could be a random shower. And then most of Wednesday is dry, and then by the afternoon we start to get some pop-up showers, maybe even a few pop-up thunderstorms, especially in our western counties. Some of these could be strong. I do think we'll get some severe weather out west of us, maybe out across central Kansas, but we're going to have to watch this as this whole storm system slides in. By the time we head into Thursday, that's going to give us our best shot for showers and thunderstorms. And by Thursday afternoon, some of those could be strong, maybe even severe, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Cold front rolls through late Thursday, and then this front just kind of hangs out on top of us as we head into Friday. So this means more rain, showers, and thunderstorms. Another wave comes out on Saturday. More rain, showers, thunderstorms. Showers and thunderstorms again on Sunday. May even have a severe threat on Sunday afternoon. And then finally, this whole storm system will push on by and we'll start to calm down just a little bit. 72 for us tomorrow. Actually, the next few days, about 72 degrees. Chances for showers and thunderstorms, especially by Thursday. And then good chances for rain all the way through the weekend. It is going to cool down a bit, but hey, it's March, springtime. It's kind of what we get around here.
Yeah, the temperatures though for the next few days, they're just awesome.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah. Doug, thank you. Coming up, the George Floyd murder trial.
Minneapolis braces for potential unrest as jury selection gets delayed in the trial of an ex-officer accused of killing George Floyd. I'm Jeff Paul in Minneapolis. I'll have the details coming up.
A judge sends prospective jurors in the trial over George Floyd's death home for the day. This coming as an appeal proceeds over possibly reinstating a third-degree murder charge. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more.
Minneapolis remains on edge as jury selection is delayed in the trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin. Prosecutors filed a request Monday with the Court of Appeals to suspend the trial until the state Supreme Court weighs in on whether to reinstate a third-degree murder charge against Chauvin. Judge Peter Cahill previously dismissed the charge, but on Friday, an appeals court urged him to reconsider. Chauvin currently faces second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter charges in George Floyd's death. Prosecutors say jurors selected now could be dismissed if the lesser charge is reinstated later on.
They started jury selection being told something very general, and then later they're told something very specific. I think it does affect the jury selection process.
Crowds gathered outside the courthouse in downtown Minneapolis Monday demanding justice for Floyd. Over the weekend, hundreds more marched in a peaceful protest, but the city is prepared for potential unrest. Minneapolis and Hennepin County officials are spending at least $1 million to secure buildings and streets.
They've been putting fencing and barricades around the courthouse, and they've closed some downtown buildings and streets.
George Floyd's death last May led to protests around the world. In Minnesota, some 1,500 businesses suffered an estimated $500 million in damage.
But we're hoping that the city of Minneapolis will step up to the plate, which they say they're going to do, and protect us.
Minneapolis officials say up to 2,000 National Guard members are standing by and ready to respond if they are needed. In Minneapolis, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Jury selection is expected to get underway tomorrow morning. Just ahead, going beyond the across-the-board economic help.
2.5 million women have left the workforce in the past year. I'm Lydia Hu with Fox Business in Brooklyn, New York. What's being done to bring them back? We'll take a look coming up.
On International Women's Day, a look back at the last year for working women. Fox Business Network's Lydia Hu is in Brooklyn, New York, with a bridal store owner who has managed to stay afloat during this pandemic.
2.5 million women have left the workforce in the past year compared to 1.5 million men, just to give you an idea of the disproportionate impact the pandemic has had on working women. We are at Pantora Bridal in Brooklyn, New York. It's owned by Andrea Pitter. She's telling us that in the past year she had to pivot and innovate her new line to keep up with current bridal demands. She came up with a ready-to-wear line that brides can purchase off the rack to reflect the need for at-home intimate ceremonies. No longer the big church weddings because they couldn't have large gatherings. But we know, and she acknowledges, that not all women in businesses could pivot in the same way, and it's having an impact on women in businesses. The number of women in the workforce is at a 33-year low, the lowest participation rate since 1987. And women-owned businesses report that they are in a worse financial state than men-owned businesses, and this trend could have global implications. An updated McKinsey Global Institute report warns that not taking gender-responsive actions during the pandemic, it could lead to a $1 trillion loss in global GDP by 2030. Here's Andrea Pitter.
I think that that's what happened during the pandemic, is when it was who's going to not work or whose work is more important. Women took the back seat like we always have. And I think that it's really important for us to understand that we can definitely be the drivers, and we should be.
Now, there's no easy or clear solution to this, but as we're seeing the restrictions slowly rolled back across the country, there's the hope that businesses will get back to work. That means employees can return. And here at the bridal salon, they're hoping brides will come back for their bridal attire. But in the meantime, if you want to learn more about Pantora Bridal here in Brooklyn or Andrea Pitter, you can pick up the latest edition of The Knot magazine. It's available right now on newsstands across the country. In Brooklyn, New York, for Fox Business, I'm Lydia Hu.
Coming up, going to look back on the life of Louie the Comfort Dog, how he helped comfort and rebuild Joplin. Almost 10 years ago, Joplin was hurting. One of the deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history killed 161 people. One other person died later and left others asking, where do I go? What do I do now? Well, two dogs seemed to understand every bit of that hurt, even though they weren't in Joplin during the tornado. Louie and Jackson arrived in the summer of 2011 as Emmanuel Lutheran Comfort Dogs. For the next few years, as Joplin rebuilt, people's hurts changed, but Louie and Jackson's care didn't. In 2016, both dogs needed to care themselves after being shot by a man who was later arrested. Louie and Jackson visited places like Sandy Hook, Connecticut, and Las Vegas after tragedies there. even on the normal days. Cuddle time was important, no matter the age, and that little guy right there gets his mom's looks, I guarantee it. Jackson died in 2019. Louis died this past Friday. 10 years later, we remind ourselves there were people and animals that helped Joplin rebuild from the tornado physically and mentally. Louis and Jackson were two of them. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way. Reconstruction work begins on the fire-damaged Olivia building in Joplin.
Prince Harry and Meghan's royal bombshell interview. I'm Christina Coleman in Los Angeles. New fallout from the shocking allegations coming up.
After a fire nearly destroyed Joplin's historic Olivia building last December, its fate has been up in the air. Until now. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on future plans for the building.
The City of Joplin and Joplin Downtown Alliance have teamed up with Bicota REI in an effort to save the Olivia and give it a new purpose. Blue Haven Homes, a Joplin-based subsidiary of the company, worked out a deal where the city will match every dollar they put in to fix the roof. Sawyer Smith, a developer for the company, says this will save the Olivia.
Up to $250,000. That'll save the building, and then the Downtown Joplin Alliance, our agreement with them, with the understanding that we will develop this, we will take on this whole project to make it into market rate apartments for the area.
Smith says these new apartments will be more modern.
It'll be in the competitive market for downtown living apartments. We're not, obviously, they're not going to be like outrageously priced. We're going to try and fit right into what everything else is renting for in our market.
Smith's brother Sullivan, a director for Blue Haven Homes, says through this project he hopes to bring dignity back to the Olivia.
It was a pretty big staple back when it was first created. It was one of the higher end apartment buildings even in the nation at the time. And our goal is to just kind of give it back some of that dignity to the community and to the city, and just restore it and have some nice apartments available for people in the area.
Julie Bolin, a boutique owner in downtown Joplin, has lived here all her life. She says she's looking forward to what the building will become.
It's great. I think anytime you try to make things better, it's always, it's a good idea. I think it'd be great for the community. They're trying to make it a little more hip and more fun and rebuild downtown, so I think it will be great.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Sawyer says she hopes to see the apartments finished by fall of 2022. Joplin City Council today held a work session. On the agenda, the city's action plans for future development. The action plans look to address declining neighborhoods, homelessness, economic opportunities, crime, and city service levels. City officials hope to get the plans fully worked out by April so they can be ballot measures for elections in May.
These action plans drive at the heart of that. It's finally addressing that question about why doesn't the city take care of this, or why doesn't the city do this? I think by addressing these, we are addressing the community's needs. We're proposing to provide a higher level of service to the community, and I think it's serving our community in the best way possible.
City officials also looked at the results of a study about the preferred future of Ewart Pool. That study showed people would like it turned into a splash park. Well, Northeast Tech in Afton, Oklahoma is building a new state-of-the-art welding facility. School officials have been planning the new facility for more than a year now. It's going to be big enough for around 20 welding students to have their own booths. The school is allowing current welding students, pretty cool here, to sign their name on a steel beam in the middle of the new facility to commemorate it. At least 17 million viewers watched in awe as Prince Harry and Meghan gave a no-holds interview to Oprah, detailing what led them to leave the royal family. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has reaction to the shocking interview.
New fallout from Sunday's sit-down between Prince Harry and Meghan and Oprah. During the interview, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex gave an unflattering peek behind the curtain of the royal family, including allegations of blatant racism, a lack of support for the couple and their son Archie, and Meghan opened up about her struggles with mental health.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
And the revelations reverberated around Britain and the world.
For anyone to come forward and speak about their own struggles with mental health and tell their own personal story, that takes courage.
The 39-year-old pregnant mom also revealing the family's concerns about the skin tone of the couple's children. While Prince Harry wouldn't say who the conversation was with, hours after the interview aired, we learned who it wasn't.
He wanted to make sure that I knew, and if I had an opportunity to share it, that it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather.
The Queen was briefed Monday morning on all of the allegations.
I always said that the royal family would come out at best looking out of date, out of touch, perhaps unwelcoming, but this is so much worse than that.
And there's more we didn't see. In unaired clips from the nearly 3.5-hour conversation, Harry and Meghan said the UK tabloids were relentless and toxic, especially in stories surrounding Meghan's father ahead of their wedding.
They don't report the news, they create the news.
To see just how deep the fallout goes, all eyes will be on the UK over the coming months, when Prince Harry is expected to return to celebrate his grandparents' birthdays and to unveil a statue of Princess Diana on what would have been her 60th birthday. In Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
Prince Charles reportedly, quote, in a state of despair. This as we are waiting for a response from the palace in the wake of this interview. A bit later, COVID-friendly airport tech.
High-tech devices at one airport are letting passengers go through immigration in under 10 seconds. I'm Anita Vogel with a look at the technology making traveling and social distancing easier.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. We started the work week. We had plenty of sunshine during the morning hours. Some mid and upper level clouds increased during the afternoon. But all in all, it just turned out to be a fantastic day. And temperatures were great as we pushed 70 degrees during the afternoon. Of course, we're cooling down now. Great time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. 57 in Iola, 55 in Welch. Much of the same in Neosho. Double nickels as well in Carthage. And in Nevada, but the winds, that kind of helped our temperatures out for us today, helped us warm up as we had those south winds at about 5 to 20 or 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts 25 upwards to 30. And those winds are actually going to get a little bit stronger for us as we work into Tuesday. Tonight we'll drop back to about 49, even a little bit warmer tomorrow. We'll still have a lot of clouds, but 72 degrees during the afternoon, which is pretty good. We have a lot of clouds out there right now, but nothing underneath the clouds. This is just the first little chunk of energy of a series of waves which are stacking up out to the west, and these are going to start to affect us as we go through about the next week or so. But you can see all the energy increasing out across the Pacific Northwest and then heading south all the way down into California. All right, first off, the winds are going to be strong. Look at our wind gusts, 35, 40, even 45 miles per hour at times as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. I do think we'll mainly stay dry tonight. We're going to get some clouds rolling in. We'll get some additional clouds tomorrow afternoon. There could be a random shower or two, but most of us are going to stay dry. 49 to start, 69 by noon. High temp is 72. Of course, it's going to be very windy. Clouds stick around tomorrow night. Could get a random shower, especially late tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, again, a few random showers popping up. But thunderstorms will get going to our west by Wednesday evening. Some of those could be severe. Now, this is going to be west of us, but these will start to work in as we head into Wednesday night and then even into Thursday. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on that as we'll have showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Again, some of those could be strong or even low-grade severe. I'm not very worried about this, but still something we'll watch. Front rolls through. Now we're kind of on the north side of the front by Friday. And again, showers, thunderstorms throughout the daytime hours on Friday. Even on Saturday, another wave kicks in, so late Saturday into Sunday. Now, Sunday afternoon, we have the potential to get some stronger storms, so we want to watch that as that system rolls right on by. But it's going to be pretty active as we go through the next week. 72 tomorrow, 72 Wednesday, 72 Thursday. We do cool down as we head into the weekend, but those rain chances stick around. Plus, don't forget, clocks jump forward 1 hour as daylight saving time begins on Saturday night. Also, on top of all this, we're going to be looking at a lot of rain. Look at our rainfall potential over about the next 5 or 6 days. A lot of areas are going to pick up 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches of rain. So it's going to get very wet across the region, but temperatures look pretty good the next few days.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. How many times have we said that? And then, like you said, a lot of stuff to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doug, thank you. All right, coming up in sports, the Erie boys getting a rare chance to play at home in the 2A state basketball tournament. Plus, the Colgan girls prepare for their own state tournament opener. Jacob Leonard is up next with details.
Well, it's not very often you get to host a state tournament basketball game, but that's exactly what the Erie boys get to do tonight. Due to COVID-19, first-round games are being played at school sites, with the team with the higher winning percentage getting to play at home. Now, Erie on the floor against Linden this evening. The winner of this one moves on to the Final Four in Manhattan. Big first quarter for Dawson Lehman. Drives and scores 8 for Lehman in the first. Erie up 4. In the second now, Garrett Ruark, corner 3. Red Devils lead by as much as 6 in the second. Right before half, though, Luke Detweiler, short jumper, beats the buzzer. Linden takes a 1-point lead at half. The Tigers come out hot in the third. Darian Massey connects from deep. Tigers get the lead to 10 going to the fourth. Under 2 minutes left now. 4-point game. Mark Bogner, huge 3 there, brings Erie within 1. But final seconds, it's back to a 3-point game. The final heave does not go. Linden holds off Erie 48-45. Red Devils finish 21-2 overall.
We always want to just give ourselves a chance, give ourselves a chance, and obviously we did that, but when you lose, that's not what you feel and that's not what you say. You know, you want to be on the other end of it. I'm pleased that we were able to stay focused throughout the year and certainly get to this point, but you know, we just wish that it would have kind of bounced the other way.
The Parsons boys got to go on the road tonight against Lewisburg in the 4A quarterfinals. Parsons in the state tournament for the 4th consecutive year. Vikings fall tonight, though, 62-30. Parsons sees its season come to an end with a 12-8 overall record. The Frontenac girls back in the state tournament after making the Final Four last year. They have Osawatomie in the 3A quarterfinals tonight. Frontenac wins a good one, 71-69. Sydney Frankenberry and Hattie Pyle each score 18 tonight for the Raiders. Frontenac now back in the Final Four. They'll head to Hutchinson for the Final Four on Thursday. The Colgan girls are back in the state tournament this season. The Panthers earned a sub-state title over the weekend, beating Humboldt 47-19 in the championship game. Now, Colgan gets a home game tomorrow night against Berean Academy in the 2A quarterfinals. Panthers are hot at the right time, winning 10 of their last 11 heading into the state tournament. Now, if they are able to win it tomorrow night, not only would they get to do it in front of their home crowd, but it would also be the program's first ever state tournament victory.
We want to be the first ones to do it this year, so we think we have a good shot at it.
I told them today when we watched film, like, you'll never have this opportunity probably again. You know, you hope they go back to the venue next year, so embrace it, you know, take it for what it's worth. And, you know, we have a great gym. Hopefully we can get a lot of fans that we normally wouldn't get, you know, the first round, so we're really, really excited.
I think we have a lot of chemistry, you know, especially at a small school. We play all the sports together. We're super close group, so we're super selfless. We don't care who scores the points, who gets the steals. We just want to win as a team, and that's what's important to us.
Finally, Missouri Southern football will hit the field for one game this spring. The university made the announcement on their website today. That game will be against Southern Nazarene in Bethany, Oklahoma on March 18th. You can watch the Lions play their first game under Atiba Bradley online. You can find links on our website. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
A new form of facial recognition technology is revolutionizing the way we travel. Fox News correspondent Anita Vogel has more on how the high-tech rollout at one airport in particular is making flying faster and safer during this coronavirus pandemic.
Travelers going through the Dubai airport may get it confused with a scene out of a sci-fi film, as one of the world's busiest international hubs reveals its major COVID-19 makeover. Specifically designed iris scanners have replaced custom agents. These high-tech devices confirm your identity by reading the pattern of your eyeball. The gate only unlocks if the scan matches travel details in the system. This process means passengers can check in for their flight and go through passport verification in roughly 9 seconds. During the global pandemic, speed is not the only benefit. The automated scanners limit interactions with airport employees and help enforce social distancing. This software is different from other technology on the market because it matches the eyeball scans to information in Dubai's security database, eliminating the need for passengers to show their travel documents.
It will not be the end. Always we are looking for what's new, what we can do, what we can make it easier, how to save the timing.
Here in California, outdoor stadiums, theme parks, and concert spaces are preparing to reopen, begging the question, could facial recognition technology be helpful at these venues to keep people safe? In Los Angeles, Anita Vogel, Fox News.
Changing times, right? All right, coming up, several winter finales airing on Fox this week. Gonna break down the lineup next. Big week on Fox TV this week with dramatic winter finales, the introduction of new shows, while the masked singing competition resumes. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a preview.
A hit series return, a new series premiere. Here's what's hot on Fox.
Guess everyone has their breaking point.
Monday starts with the winter finales of 911 and 911 Lone Star. Emergencies for the 118 include a call at the airport, while Maddie and Chimney make a big decision about their baby.
Please tell them to hurry.
On Lone Star, the 126 respond to 3 seemingly unconnected emergency calls.
That's the man who stabbed me.
Tuesday on The Resident, it's Nick's first day back at Chastain, and Kane works on his recovery.
Oh, beautiful.
Then it's a replay of Prodigal Son. Malcolm investigates the murder of a priest with Martin's help. Wednesday, it's the season 5 premiere of The Masked Singer with guest host Niecy Nash. Meet the celebrities of Group A and check out the show's new twists and turns.
Oh my God!
That's followed by the premiere of Game of Talents, hosted by Wayne Brady. 2 teams are tasked with finding out hidden talents of mystery performers, with $200,000 at stake.
Where's the fillet?
Thursday, 8 remaining chefs are in the competition on Hell's Kitchen. The laughs on Call Me Kat include Randy's big move-in day. And it's Vanessa's birthday on an all-new Last Man Standing. Friday, it's the in-the-ring action of WWE Friday Night SmackDown. And Sunday, it's all new episodes on Animation Domination, including over in Springfield, where The Simpsons was just renewed for a record 33rd and 34th seasons. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
33 and 34, that's amazing. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Gonna leave you with a partially frozen Niagara Falls. Absolutely beautiful, but I'll keep my 60 and 70 degree weather if you ask me. Be safe, do this all again tomorrow. See you then.